What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range, as you can see behind me, on what's turned out to be a cloudy day. I think I've lost my son for good out here for the rest of the day, and the wind's picking up, so luckily I'm on the downhill stretch with the testing, and this one right here should be a pretty good 357 Magnum test. So the jelly contraption's set up, ready for one more go with a couple of chronos and 2 blocks of gel. Now, I've done a couple of tests so far today, managed to keep them all to the back other than this little straggly piece right here, but that shouldn't cause me any problems right there. Should have plenty of room in the front to get this done. Of course, as you can see, like always, I've got a heavy clothing barrier with a layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we got for this one is some stuff that I've actually tested in the past in a couple of different weights. One of these I've actually never tested. As you can see, we've got the Remington HTP, their high terminal performance. This is their semi-jacketed HP. Now, I've got one of them in 125 grains. I have actually tested this before, and then the other one is 110 grains. Now, both of these cartridges look exactly the same, so I didn't want to pull them both out and get them mixed up. As you can see there, nice nickel plated case with that semi-jacketed HP on the front. And then as far as ballistics on this stuff, there's kind of some weird info that I'm not sure is correct. I'm not sure the barrel length mainly is why I don't know if this is correct. If you look it up for this 125, they're saying 1,450 feet per second. Again, with no barrel length, so 1,450 on the 125, but then when you look at the 110, they're saying 1,295, so right much slower from the lighter projectile, which doesn't make sense unless that's gotten from different barrel lengths. So they either tested these from much different barrel lengths or it's just a plain old mistake. As far as what I'm running it out of here today, I'm running them both through my Taurus 605 with the 2-inch barrel. Now, in my opinion, the 357 mag, as far as 4-inch, 6-inch, anything even bigger than that, it's easy to get good performance. It's really hard to get a bad round, but when you're talking 2-inch, you get such a loss in the energy that sometimes it can be tricky. So that's why I'm going with the 2-inch on this one. So this ought to be a pretty good one. If I'm guessing, I don't remember what this stuff has done in the past. I think we'll probably get some good performance out of it. I'm very curious to see what's going on with that velocity though. So let's get it all set up and find out. All right, y'all, let's see what the velocity actually is from this stuff. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each weight, starting with this 125 first. Now, if y'all aren't familiar with this lab radar, like I always explain, you're gonna see multiple velocity readings. The large number is right here at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one there is set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then I've got the others set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. Now remember, this stuff is saying 1,450 and no barrel length listed at all. So I'm very curious to see what it's actually running. Ooh, it feels spicy. 1258. 1246, 1251, 1228. Wind's about to blow me over, in 1260, so not bad at all. Let's check out that average. All right, so that's pretty good right there out of a 2-inch barrel. We had a 5-round average of 1,249 feet per second, 32 extreme spread with a 12.8 standard deviation. So 1250 basically is right where I like my hot plus P plus spicy 124 9 mil. So this is right up my alley right here, especially from a 2-inch. But let's get it reset and see if the 110 really is slower than this 125. All right, let's see what this 110 is actually doing. Now, remember, this was saying 1295. Again, no barrel length. If I'm guessing, they got that 110 out of a shorty like this, maybe 2 or 3 inches, and then 125, something more like 4 to 6 inches, probably 6 inches or better, maybe even 8 inches. So I expect this to be faster. It just doesn't make any sense that this is going to be slower than that 125, but let's see what actually happens here. 1187. Yeah, I'm wrong. 1199, and this feels much softer. 1177. 1174. And 1225, so we had one jump up there at the end, but pretty much all the rest of them were slower. Let's check out this average. All right, so our 5-round average that time with the 110 was 1,192 feet per second. We had an extreme spread of 51 with a 20.7 standard deviation, and that big spread is because I'm sure that last one that jumped up on us for whatever reason. 1192, so not a whole lot slower than the 125, but it is slower. But I can say for sure there is a big difference in in the recoil. I mean, a drastic difference in the felt recoil. And right at 1200, that's still not bad for a 2-inch with a 110 grain projectile. But 1192 here, and if you remember on that 125, it was 1249. So you're talking about, what's that, 57 feet per second faster with a heavier projectile. So, you know, y'all know me. If I'm picking one right here, I don't care about the little extra recoil. Now, I say a little extra recoil, but it's just because I'm used to it. I'm not trying to be big tough guy. I can take all the recoil, but I'm used to it, so it doesn't bother me as much as it might some other people. But I can't tell you, being completely honest, there's a pretty significant difference in recoil. But again, I don't mind that. So if I'm picking one, it's going to be that 125. But I do think both of these are probably going to do us a good job. But let's get it all reset, and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's will 15 grains mean a big performance change jelly time. We'll put one of each into the gel, starting with this 125 first. I think we're going to get good performance from both of these. If I'm guessing, we're probably going to see right much fragmentation out of them. All right, that was absolutely perfect right there. Let me go see what I got. All right, y'all, that's looking absolutely fantastic down there. This 110 is gonna have to do some big tricks to do better than that right there. All right, that should have been another good one. Let's go check this stuff out. All right, let's check these things out, y'all. Pretty much what I expected as far as expansion and penetration, but not nearly as much fragmentation as I thought we would get. Now, all through this disruption is peppered with little tiny pieces of lead, but I expected a whole lot more just mangled up big chunks torn off, but looks like both of these held together pretty nicely. Now, that being said, there's obviously a big difference in performance. Up on the top here, that's the 125. As you can see, comes in here, no doubt. Immediate expansion, nice energy transfer, goes all the way through this block, looks like about an inch short of the end, so right around 15 inches, and this thing looks like it has got some massive expansion to it. And then down here on the bottom, definitely a different story with this one. Now, it did perform well. You can see this was the 110, comes in here once again, no doubt it had immediate expansion, nice energy transfer right there, but the penetration really suffered on this one. It does have some fantastic looking expansion, but as far as penetration, I would say you're probably about 9.5, 10 inches or so with that. But let's find out for sure. This 125 here is at exactly 15 inches of penetration, so really nice right there. And then this 110 is actually down at 10 1/4, so a little shorter than probably what most people would want, definitely a little shorter than what I would want. But like I always mention, if you put those in the right place, it's more than likely gonna get the job done. And then here's your close-up angle. Now that 125 is definitely a larger disruption area, not a whole lot, but you can tell, especially from the top. So again, on the top 125, bottom 110, you can see there, I'll bring you in a lot closer. I think you can see all those little peppered bits of lead in both of those disruption areas. Follow them on through here. There's that 110. It looks like it's got some big time expansion. And then if we hop on back up here, there's that 125, and there's no doubt that thing's got a ton of expansion. And then from the top here, you can see what I mean. It really just depends on what angle. That right there is the 125. So from this angle, it looks like a much more disruption. But again, that doesn't mean a whole lot in the gel. It just means that both of them look like they did what they were supposed to do. All right, let's take a look at these projectiles, y'all. Big time expansion from both of these things. Very nice expansion. There you can see 110 here, 125 here. Check out that base. Very nice even expansion from that 110. But this 125 just took it to another level. I mean, that's just incredible expansion. This thing expanded and then pushed its way through the expanded lead and started to expand again. I mean, it just came back for seconds on the expansion buffet. Just some really impressive looking stuff. Now, that being said, a little bit more, any longer barrel length, and I'd say you would probably have some pretty big fragmentation going on. So let's get our measurements and see what we got there. As far as the weight, this one started at 110. is down to 109.8, so barely anything lost there. Looks like a lot more than that, but it's just tiny fragments, and probably some of that is the cloth. Then this 125 here, that one's actually down to 122.8. So again, it did lose some, but I'm really surprised that they didn't lose much more than they did. And then for our sizes here, this is definitely going to be a pretty good difference. The 110, you got 580 and 581. So very, very nice even expansion right there. And then this big old 125 here, the longest area this way, you got 685. And in this direction, you got 607. So again, just massive expansion on that one right there. And there you go, y'all, the Remington HTP 357 Magnum in 110 and 125 grain. Both of these are great options in my opinion for a 2-inch 357 Magnum. Now that being said, my choice is without a doubt this 125. I mean, this 125 has got it going on, buddy. It's up at the energy levels and a little more even that I like to see out of plus P plus 9mm, and that's out of a 2-inch barrel. So that's some cooking stuff right there. I really like that. The 110 on the other hand, again, very, very nice job. I would want a little more penetration in this, but if you're looking for a good 357 Magnum round and you're okay with that penetration for a whole lot less recoil, this is another good option in my opinion. All right, y'all, I think some good short barrel 357 mag performance is a great way to end the day of testing. Pretty good looking performance from the 110 and fantastic performance from that 125 if you ask me. I just really like the velocity and the energy that that stuff has. It had absolutely perfect penetration and expansion. Now again, I ain't even gonna try to sugarcoat it. There is a significant recoil difference between these two rounds. The 125 is much rowdier, much more recoil. That being said, if you're used to 357 Magnum, it's nothing uncontrollable by any means, but there is without a doubt a big difference in recoil between these two. So let me know down in the comments what y'all think about it. Do any of y'all out there run these Remington HTPs in the 125 or the 110 or maybe the 158? If you do, what do you run it in? What do you think about the performance between these two out here today? And if you had to make a choice based on all the info I've given you today, which one of these would you choose? If you did enjoy the video, take a second if you would and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on those notifications. All of that stuff really does help out the channel, so I do thank y'all for that. If you're doing some shopping, take a second and check out those affiliate links in the video description. Anything you get after hitting those links up, I get a kickback from them toward the channel, so I really appreciate that. Big thanks again to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel like y'all do. Got some really interesting stuff done out here today and plenty more on the way, so stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.